Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to Her Point of View. If this is your first time, please make sure you hit that subscribe button and like this video. I would appreciate it. So this video is basically just going to be about staying true to yourself. I had a conversation with one of my good friends, and the conversation lasted till about 4 in the morning. And if she watches this, I'm not gonna say her name, but if she watches this, she knows who she is. And maybe she'll make herself known down in the comments. But we had such a deep, healing conversation, and it brought so much clarity. Not that we had any indifferences or anything like that, but it was just, we hadn't seen each other in a while. It was good to catch up. It was good to leave it all where we left it, and it was just so good. So back to staying true to yourself. That was kind of like the overall theme of our conversation, and I just wanted to bring some points from that to you guys, because I know sometimes we struggle with who we are and who we want to be. And in the midst of where we are and where we're trying to get to, we can lose focus in a sense of ourselves, because we kind of feel like we're on this hamster wheel of life. And it's just like, I'm thinking about the future versus just being in the present and healing yourself from your past. So accountability came up in our conversation. Self-awareness came up in our conversation, and just the overall lesson learned of staying true to yourselves and staying true to yourself in relationships. Staying true to yourself, especially in relationships, is so important. It's important that you don't lose yourself and your sense of self. Remember who you were when you met that special person, that significant other, and what was it about you that stood out? You know, you were being your most authentic selves. And sometimes, oftentimes in relationships, we lose that. We begin to hit this switch of, okay, now I have to be who I should be for them. And it's like, no. Be yourself. And real love, unconditional love, is going to enhance that, not take you out of that and try to shape you and mold you. And that's another thing about unhealed traumas within people, and how they project their hurts on people and their conditioned way of thinking onto people. Me and my friend was having this conversation, and this person was so heavily influenced by their elders that it conflicted with who they were naturally. Now that's damaging within itself, because it's like, okay, you can be who your elders shaped you to be, but you also have to be true to yourself, your own perception, your own way of being and doing and living and loving. You know, stay true to you. You have a part about yourself that is, for example, holier than thou. But there's also a part of you that likes to, quote unquote, get ratchet or turned up or lit, you know, and there isn't anything wrong with that, as long as you have a clear understanding of that. You can't be this way one day and then point the finger at that the next day as if it's not something that speaks or appeals to you, that's being hypocritical, that's not being true to yourself. And I think it's so important that we grow to know ourselves beyond our conditioned way of thinking, what our parents think or say or do. Respect, of course, but we have grown into our own individuals, our own adults, and we've cultivated our own experiences, and we think with our own mind and our own perspective and our own points of view. And understanding is so important. Self-awareness, accountability of self is so important. And you have to really do that work. You have to think about what upsets you. Go to those dark places, the places that you don't like about yourselves, and sit with them and think about them and try to figure out why, what chain of events led to the reasons that you don't like about yourself, I guess. I think it's so important that once you come out of something, that you get to a place of understanding the lesson that that certain situation served, because it's all a lesson. That's all life is. It's just a strain of, well, life is more than that, but you know what I mean. It's just a strain of lessons learned and applying them, instilling them, and growing higher and better. It was so interesting talking to my friend, because she told me that she had to tuck away parts of herself, true parts of herself, because she did not want to shame the person that she was with. And that saddened me a little bit, because it was something that I could identify with. And it's just like, you know, been there. And I'm sure we are not the only ones who's been there, when you get wrapped up in trying to please someone that you consider to love. You don't think of it as, I'm changing my ways. You turn it into, I'm sacrificing. And that's so far from the truth when you come through it on the other side and you realize, I did not have to sacrifice myself. I did not have to change the parts of myself that I love, the parts that I feel the most free. I didn't have to give those up. I read a very inspirational quote. I don't remember it verbatim, but it says something to the degree of, a real unconditional love will not ask you to leave yourself along the journey. And that's so true. Somebody who really cares about you, who really loves you, who wants to help you be the best you, is going to add to you, not chip away at your character, not try to change who you are to fit the perceptions of them and their conditioned way of thinking. It's a very powerful thing, and it's just something that I think we all should explore, if not already. Get to the root of you. Understand who you are, what you like, what you don't like, what speaks to you, what makes you feel the most free, and dive in that. And I guarantee that things will start to come in alignment for you. Things will become more favorable to you, because you're living and standing in your own truth. and you're exuding that energy outward, and you're attracting that likeness back to you. But when you are living a lie or living up to the expectations of others, whether it be family, whether it be friends, no. You were put on this earth to fulfill your purpose. And your purpose is to be your most authentic self. Because it's not just only about being your authentic self, it's being who you are, because it's not only about you. And that's the challenge that I think a lot of people conflict with accepting about themselves. For example, me, I feel the most free when I am in the car listening to music. I feel like you know how Beyonce, for example, has her quote unquote alter ego Sasha Fierce, but she doesn't really have it anymore, because I think it was a coming together of oneself. And I think that before, when she identified with those two parts of herself, it was something about Beyonce and something about Sasha Fierce that wasn't molded into one yet. It's probably felt like she had to cut it off and cut it back on again. She had to become this fierce part of herself. And I can identify with that, especially when I'm in the car and I'm jamming to, I feel like I'm in my own show. And I feel like that speaks so true to me. And I had an epiphany about it a little bit today. And I was in the car. I can't remember what song was playing, but I was jamming per usual. And when I'm in traffic, I attract people to look at me, not intentionally. I'm just being myself, but they're in their cars like, let me see who that is. And I know it and I feel it. And sometimes I have a little bit of an alter ego type self, but I also have a part of me that's calm, cool, collected, a little bit shy, a little bit reserved and calm. And sometimes I don't want to turn that on, but when you become a person of the people, when you become a public figure, so to speak, it's not so much about you anymore as it is about serving for and being of service to others, because your light is needed. And it's not only needed for you, it's just as much needed for the people around you to spark something within themselves. So get to know yourself, do your work. I got goosebumps. But get to know yourself, do your work, be gentle with yourself, because it is a process and it's a healing process. And I think that we are all in the process of healing and growing and learning new things about the world, new things about others, new things about ourselves. And all in all, know that there is a lesson, a part of it. Try to be a little bit more understanding of others in that aspect, to know that, you know, they're just healing or potentially still at war with themselves. So when you see something that isn't favorable, when you see somebody projecting hate, just know that it's something that's unhealed within themselves, and you don't have to sacrifice yourself and change yourself and dim your light for anybody and anyone. My hope for everyone is to find your light, identify with it, love it unconditionally, purely, wholly, all of that. Should you cry, baby? But I feel it, and I know it's the truth. So, and I'm also an empath, so that's what makes me highly emotional. But I use humor to soothe that. And know that tears is also a very strong characteristic of oneself, and being vulnerable is just as powerful and strengthening as withholding that true part of yourself. So I hope that this inspires. I hope that this speaks to your soul and your spirit, and I hope that you took something from this and it's able to help you move forward in life. Stay positive, speak light and life in yourself and in others. Be more understanding, be respectful of others and yourself. Be more mindful. And stay happy and healthy. I will see y'all in the next one. Please leave me some love in the comments. I appreciate that. Let me know what you guys think and what you guys potentially want to talk about next time. Remember, I do have something that I want to share with y'all very soon. It hasn't came in the mail yet, but it'll be here soon. I'm so excited about that. And stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll see y'all soon. Don't forget to subscribe. Okay, bye.